Welcome to the School of the Lost Tribes. For the chosen of the Most High, who need to study to show themselves approved unto the Messiah, sign up at schooloftheLostTribes.teachable.com. Ezekiel 38. Intro lesson to the final cleansing and restoration. The war described in Ezekiel 38 is not just another battle. It is Yahweh's divine judgment against the Gentiles and false Jews who have occupied and defiled his land. This destruction will be absolute, leaving no trace of these oppressors. The land will then be purified, and the true Israelites will be restored to their rightful place, fulfilling the covenant made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To fully comprehend the cleansing of the land, we must study this prophecy precept upon precept, as commanded in Isaiah 28:10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, and there a little. The time of the Gentiles is coming to an end, and Yahweh's justice will soon be revealed to all nations. This lesson will provide the necessary foundation to understand the final cleansing and restoration of Israel. The invasion described in Ezekiel 38 is a prophetic event where a vast coalition of nations, led by Gog of Magog, Russia and its powerful military allies, rises against the Edomite occupiers of Yahweh's land. This attack is not merely a military assault, but is divinely orchestrated by Yahweh to set the stage for the second coming and the full restoration of the land. However, their plans will fail, as Yahweh himself will unleash his wrath, bringing earthquakes, fire, and total destruction upon the invaders. This event marks the beginning of the final cleansing, ensuring that the land is purified for the scattered lost tribes to return, and that all Gentile nations acknowledge Yahweh's supreme power. The Most High has always stirred up nations for war, as it is written, "The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name." Exodus 15:3. Set them in their own land. Bring them into their own land, and they shall be no more two nations. I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers. Led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and they shall dwell in their own land. I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up. I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. The Lord thy God will gather thee, and bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed. The invasion of the land, Yahweh's war against the Gentile occupiers. Throughout history, the land of Israel has been subjected to repeated invasions and occupations by foreign nations, many of whom were not of the bloodline of Israel. The scriptures foretell a future time when Yahweh will remove these Gentile occupiers through war and judgment, restoring the land to its rightful inheritors, the scattered Israelites. Ezekiel 38:16. The gathering of Israel's enemies for judgment. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel, as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days. And I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. Here, Yahweh declares that the Gentiles will amass themselves against Israel, thinking they can dominate and control the land. However, this gathering is divinely orchestrated, for it is Yahweh himself who draws these heathen nations into a confrontation, so that his power can be revealed in their destruction. Luke 21:24, Jerusalem trampled by the nations. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. This verse outlines the exile of the true Israelites, and the long period in which Jerusalem would be controlled by non-Israelites. The term trodden down signifies oppression, control, and desecration by foreign powers. This prophecy has been fulfilled through various stages of history, from the Roman occupation to the Arab and Turkish rule, and culminating in the 2880 European Balfour Declaration, which established the modern Israeli state, an entity still under the control of foreign rulers who are not the descendants of Jacob. Ezekiel 36:5, the land appointed to the heathen. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, Surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. Yahweh condemns the enemies of Israel, particularly Edom, Idumea, for taking possession of the land. This has happened through deceitful political maneuvering, colonization, and false claims of inheritance. The present occupation by the so-called Jews, who do not descend from the 12 tribes of Israel, is a continuation of this prophecy. Revelation 2:9, the false Jews. I know thy works, and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them, which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. This passage exposes those who falsely claim to be Israelites, but are, in reality, deceivers. The modern Zionist state is founded on the lies of impostors who masquerade as the chosen people while perpetuating oppression, usury, and sin. Revelation 11:8, the spiritual corruption of the land. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. The land of Israel today is overrun with corruption and immorality, much like Sodom and Egypt. The modern Israeli state promotes sodomy, decadence, and unrighteousness, openly rejecting Yahweh Shai, just as they did when he walked among them. Their parades of abomination and lawlessness prove that they are not the true inheritors of the land. Ezekiel 37:21, the restoration of the true Israelites. And say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. This is the ultimate promise. The true Israelites, scattered and lost, will be regathered and restored to their rightful land. This is not a political movement orchestrated by men, but the divine will of Yahweh. Unlike the modern state, which was built by the hands of Gentiles, the true restoration will be by the power of Yahweh. Psalm 137:7, Edom's role in Israel's oppression. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Edom has played a key role in the destruction and occupation of Israel's land. They conspired with other nations to ensure that Israel remained scattered and without power. However, Yahweh will bring justice upon them, the judgment of the nations and the cleansing of the land. The current occupation of the land of Israel by impostors will not last forever. Ezekiel 38:16 describes the great war that will lead to the expulsion of these foreign invaders. The forces of Edom and Gog will be drawn into battle, only for Yahweh to wipe them out with fire and destruction. As it is written in Psalm 137 verse 7, the enemies of Israel will face their judgment. Ezekiel 36:5 foretells the complete cleansing of the land from all false claimants. The war to reclaim the land is not merely a political struggle, but a divine appointment. Luke 21:24 tells us that the Gentile occupation will end when their time is fulfilled. That time is rapidly approaching, and the great war will see the cleansing of the land by Yahweh's fire and righteous fury. Jerusalem cursed by Yahweh, a desolate land under Gentile control, Gentile nations that conquered and occupied Jerusalem. Throughout history, Jerusalem has been conquered and controlled by non-Israelite, Gentile nations after Yahweh's curse fell upon it. This was a fulfillment of Luke 21:24, where Christ prophesied. Egyptians, Canaanites, Philistines, Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, Hasmoneans, Romans, Byzantines, Sassanid Persians, Arab Muslims, Crusaders, Ayyubid dynasty Mamluks, Ottoman Turks, British Edomites, European Edomite, Zionists, the conquest of the desolate land of Jerusalem, and the Arab Muslim occupation. The conquest of Jerusalem has long been a subject of both historical significance and biblical prophecy. The land, initially given to the Israelites, faced multiple invasions, with one of the most significant being the Arab Muslim conquest in 638 CE, which marked the beginning of centuries of Islamic rule under the Rashidun, Umayyad, Abbasid, and Fatimid caliphates. The Arab Muslims and the occupation of Jerusalem, 638 to 1099 CE. The Muslim conquest under the Rashidun Caliphate, 638 CE. Jerusalem, already weakened by wars between the Byzantines and the Sassanid Persians, fell to the armies of the second Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab in 638 CE. The Byzantine Empire, which had ruled Jerusalem since 324 CE, was unable to resist the swift advance of the Muslim forces. The city surrendered to Caliph Umar without a major battle, marking the beginning of Islamic rule. Key events: the Patriarch of Jerusalem, Sophronius, surrendered to Umar. Umar granted Christians protection under the Pact of Umar, but Jews, who had been expelled by the Byzantines, were allowed to return. The Dome of the Rock was built in 691 CE by the Umayyads to solidify Muslim control. The Umayyad and Abbasid rule, 661 to 1258 CE. Under the Umayyads, 661 to 750 CE, Jerusalem became a central city for Islam. They built the Al-Aqsa Mosque, reinforcing their religious claim to the city. However, despite their rule, the Arab Muslims were not the original inhabitants of the land. They had taken it by force, aligning with their belief that once a land is conquered in the name of Islam, it belongs to them forever. The Abbasid Caliphate, 750 to 1258 CE, continued this policy, though Jerusalem's significance declined as the caliphate focused on Baghdad. The Fatimid Caliphate, 969 to 1099 CE, and the decline of Arab rule. The Fatimids, a Shia dynasty, took control of Jerusalem in 969 CE. Their rule was marked by both persecution and political instability. In 1009 CE, the Fatimid Caliph al-Hakim bi-Amr Allah ordered the destruction of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, showing hostility toward Christians. However, the city remained under Muslim control until the Crusaders captured it in 1099 CE. The Arab Muslim belief, conquering means ownership. Islamic doctrine, as seen in history, promotes the idea that once a land is conquered for Islam, it belongs to Muslims forever. This belief has fueled ongoing conflicts, as seen in modern times between Arabs, Palestinians, and the Khazar Edomite Jews. This aligns with Luke 21:24, where Christ prophesied, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled." This verse indicates that Jerusalem would remain under Gentile, non-Israelite rule until the time for its restoration to Israel arrives. The Arab conquest and subsequent occupation align perfectly with this prophecy. The war between the Arabs, Palestinians, and the Edomite Khazar Jews, a prophetic conflict. The ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not a coincidence, but a prophetic fulfillment. The Palestinians, who are Arabs, claim historical ties to the land, while the modern Jews, largely descended from Edomite Khazar converts, also claim Jerusalem as theirs. Prophetic analysis: the Arabs, Palestinians, are not the original Israelites. Their presence is due to Islamic conquest. The modern Jews, many of whom are of Khazar and Edomite origin, are also not the true Israelites. The war over Jerusalem continues because neither group is the true heir to the land. According to the prophets in Christ, Jerusalem will remain under foreign control until the rightful heirs, the dispersed Israelites, are restored. Conclusion: the war over Jerusalem is prophetic. The conquest of Jerusalem by Arab Muslims, 638 to 1099 CE, was part of the Gentile domination foretold in Luke 21:24. The modern battle between Palestinian Arabs and the Khazar Edomite Jews is a continuation of this prophecy. Until the true Israelites are restored, the land will remain a point of war, conquest, and dispute, a testimony to the enduring fulfillment of biblical prophecy.